This is Are the Mining Stocks About to Explode Upwards, Part 2, and the final part. This should mostly stand on its own. You might want to go look at the first part, especially if you found this one useful. So I'll get started. This one's just going to have a little bit more calculation in it, more quantification of, and a prediction. So, based on what happened in the past. So, in the past, we had a dot-com bubble from October 2000 to about November 2003. And the Huey, actually, I picked those dates because that's the lowest Huey. I don't know if those are the official dates of the crisis or the dot-com bubble bursting, whatever you want to call it, whatever they call it. But the Huey was at the bottom of the chart, and it raced up to the top of the chart. And what I'm going to show is that there's a tendency when it's at the bottom of the chart and there is a crisis to go to the top of the chart and vice versa. So it doesn't always do the same thing. It depends on where it's at initially. And, well, let's continue on and I'll show you what I'm thinking here. So this corresponds with this right here. And like I said, it went from 0.14 up there to 0.64. And that's the Huey Gold ratio. And let me get a little pointer here if I need it. So it went from 0.14 to 0.64, and that delta is a gain of just 0.5. And during that time, you can see that the Huey way outperformed gold. So you'd first want to make a decision whether you wanted to be in gold or anything to do with gold or be in the stock market. And so then once you made the decision that you're going to do one of these, then you come over and look at this Huey Gold ratio, and you'd want to pick the winner there. And so that's the gain. And this was over a time period from here to here of 3 years. So let's go on and look at the next one. And what I've added here is a financial crisis. And again, I'm picking the big move in the Huey. So that's what that date corresponds to. It's roughly when the crisis occurred. You can see you might be able to see this gray that they got drawn here. It's not easy to see, but that's the financial crisis about that time, as you recall. You can look it up. And here the Huey to gold ratio went down. So let's go look at what the better performer is when it's going down. Okay, now I don't use this chart to decide when to get in to gold or gold mining. I just wanted to mention that. I use the Dow gold ratio for that. Here is where I want to pick the best between these two. And I've made another video on this, so I'm repeating myself a little, but that's good for me. Maybe somebody else finds some value in it. So when there's a drop, here's one thing that tends to be true. When the ratio is going down, both Huey and gold tend to be going down. And when the ratio is going up, both the Huey and gold tend to be going up as well. Well, let's look at this right here. So you can see what I'm actually saying is, I don't know if that was completely clear, is that both of these are losers during this period. And so you want to pick the one that's just not that performs the best, and that's easy enough to do. Although you wouldn't want to pick this time period, I'm just using this as an example that the gold doesn't drop as much in a crisis. Here's the takeaway. I would say this is the takeaway. In a crisis, gold doesn't drop as much fast as the Huey. It just retains its value, and the Huey stocks are very, very volatile. So that's the main takeaway point from that. And then what I want to say is that we are now down here at the bottom of the chart. And it's coincidental that it's the exact same thing it was down here. And this one, whenever there was a crisis for whatever reason, it didn't drop any. It just started there pretty much and just went up. And here we don't have much room to drop, but we got a little bit of room, and that was what the other video was about. We got that much room. And then what I'm doing here, and I talked about that, the relative risk and everything, to the reward to risk ratio. And what I'm asking here is what would be the gains, and about when, if I wanted to get, assuming you're already in mining, maybe you want to bail out at this number is what I'm saying. So that's what that's all about. So what would I want to calculate what the gains would be for making it to there, and about when. Timing is very hard, but about when will it occur? So I've done those, and the math is a little different, but I won't get into the math of what would happen when we go from 0.14, which is where we're at today, and what if we just went to 0.4? Then what could we expect in the Huey and the gold? And if this also, notice the date that I came up with. So in order to calculate that, I just use the same rate as the rise per year average. I just applied that same thing to there, so that would be approximately, just to visually sketch it in, it would be like that. And then when it hits the 0.4, it's easy enough to calculate the time. And that happens to be 1.6 years. I mean, you can do that on Excel, just calculate the time. I won't get into that. I've got that right there. It's 1.6 years. And the Huey, you can see you would get 288%, my best guess. So we're not even doing gold. I'm not doing gold, I should say. I keep what I have, but the idea would be actually to get out of mining, unload some of my mining, take profit here, and then push that into gold, because this thing can go a lot further. I just want to reap the maximum mining profits. And I think I even did another video where I talked about breaking it up into thirds and holding the mining stocks. I can't remember, it was like 2/3, and then hanging on to gold at the very end, because that's where I want to be anyway, for retirement, I guess. That would be the game, and so it's 1.6 years away from today, and 288% gain over 1.6 years. That's 179%, and well, that's just the days. Okay, so that's really about it. Thanks for watching, and good luck.